Welcome to the Xbox Infinite Podcast.
Okay, well, welcome back everybody to the Xbox Infinite Podcast. I don't know why I'm doing that voice. What's up, dude? How are you?
No, I'm not.
I'm your host. I'm your host, Ricky. This is the... I didn't come up with a thing. This is Jason.
I
Jason,
heard
everybody.
you stall hard. I thought you were just gonna try to come up with one.
I was gonna try to work skating into it, but then I just gave up. I was gonna call you like the Vert Prince of Manhattan or something.
Sadly, you can't skate vert in the game I've been playing. So
No, you can't. And also, you've never been to Manhattan, to my knowledge.
yes, I have actually.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. You are the Vert Prince of Manhattan.
I don't know about that.
Okay, anyway, what's up, dude? What you been up to?
Nothing, man. I've just been working, and then. So should I tell you what I've been playing, or just what I've been doing in life?
You could do both. I think the question covers both.
All right. So I've just been working and preparing to record music, but I've been playing. Actually, I started playing Knights of the Old Republic again because I've never beaten it, and so that's the main thing I'm invested in right now. I played Fortnite a little bit with our cousin and our uncle, and then when I don't feel like investing, an attention span into things, I've been playing Session. But what have you been up to?
I've been playing Session as well. I haven't been playing too much Fortnite this week yet because I already did all the challenges from last week. So I'll probably play Fortnite tomorrow. I've been playing quite a bit of Session, and I've been playing Spyro because I'm still trying to play through Spyro. Which I think got cut off in last week's podcast, but yeah, I'm playing Spyro.
Yeah, I think our whole discussion of what we had been playing or doing got cut off.
Yeah, basically everything but leading up to the news was gone last week. But I'm still working through Spyro. I'm still on the first one. I think I'm 77% done.
Are you
with the first game?
So are you trying to 100% them, like legitly,
Oh, yeah.
or okay?
Oh yeah, doing everything. So it's taking a little bit of time. I just, I'll hop in and do like a level or two after work or whatever.
So
And then
this is probably late news, but for some reason Spyro reminded me of it. Did you play Ty the Tasmanian Tiger as a kid?
no.
Oh, well, that is coming to Xbox. It's already on Switch, but it's coming to Xbox.
Huh. I don't have that in the news, so that's good for everybody.
I think it's a slightly older news, but I'm also like on their Discord and stuff, so I saw it before it got announced, so I don't know when it actually got announced.
Huh. Is that like a old school platforming style game, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's similar to Crash Bandicoot Spyro, where they were like 3D platformers, kind of.
Huh.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I guess to give just a loose backstory, obviously you're a Tasmanian tiger, you're in Australia, and you're fighting an ostrich. And your main weapon is a boomerang, and that's about all I'm going to leave it at, because if you don't know, you should just look it up.
Huh. You're a Tasmanian tiger and you have a boomerang because you're from Australia.
Yeah.
Seems a little bit on the nose.
So that sounds like I just made all that up and was being very stereotypical. No, that's about the premise of the game, really.
That's about how games were back then.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's all I've been putting together session montages for TikTok, because I can, I guess. I don't have any other reason. It's just fun.
Yeah, I wish I understood TikTok more. Honestly, I only downloaded it because you started putting clips on there. I had not had TikTok until like last week.
Yeah, that's, it's probably for the best. I've really slowed down on like actually using it to watch things.
I still haven't really watched anything besides your clips or things my friends will send me, and really that's pretty rare.
Yeah. It's kind of like Vine, but not as whatever. We're not a TikTok podcast. It's not.
Yeah, I could go on for hours about how I miss Vine, but let's ignore that.
Yeah. So you want to just get into the news then?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. So before we get into the news, we really gotta address the elephant of the podcast. So somebody owes EA an apology because they're going to skate again.
Who owes EA an apology? I'm not sure who you're talking about here.
Well, the people might recall that last week you said that EA wasn't going to announce anything interesting, and you owe an apology.
All right. So I'm gonna eat my words. I'm glad EA is gonna skate again, even though it's been 10 years. So I'm sorry. Don't screw this up, EA.
That's good. that feels right.
Is that fair, at least?
Yes. So there's a few things during the EA conference, whatever you want to call it, state of play, I think that's what they call it, that were announced that we will cover. Only the ones that I think are interesting. So really only like 3 things. Other than obviously they're skating again. But that seems like it's really early in development. Like they didn't even show anything. So it kind of just seems like a knee-jerk reaction to Tony Hawk Pro Skater coming back.
That's
to me.
I was gonna say I watched the actual clip where they announced it, and
yeah,
really all they said was it's in development. And not to sound like a Session fanboy or anything, like I really dig this game, but I think it's Session, Skater XL, and Tony Hawk that are making EA see that skateboarding's still profitable.
Right. I think you're right.
So I'm just being pessimistic about it. I'm worried they're going to fill it full of microtransactions because that's the new thing.
Yeah. So the only other thing that's come out is it was an interview or something. I know I read it. And they basically said that they want to focus on player creation as far as like maps and stuff is what it sounded like. So I don't really know what that means, but they're really interested in interacting with the players as a whole. I'm not sure what that means, honestly.
I guess I can kind of interject and give maybe a little bit more. So they brought Skate 3 to the backwards compatibility not too long ago, but not too recently. Like it's been on there for a while.
Right.
The main concern was they didn't bring back the user-generated maps at first. So they brought them back for a while. EA had to pay to bring the servers back and everything. And then they took them down again, and everybody freaked out. So I think they figured out that playing user-generated content is a very big part. That's as close to modding as they could get, and I think they're understanding that. So that might be the drive for the player creation stuff.
Gotcha. Well, I guess we'll see how it is. But before we get into the other EA stuff, real quick, I'm going to play. They tweeted out the Xbox Series X startup. I played it for you before we started.
Yeah.
I'm just going to play it for the audience real quick in case they missed it. I think it's great, but I'll play it real quick. So there it is. Not much to say other than that. I think it's pretty. I guess I could have just edited it in instead of just actually playing it and us sitting here silent for 15 seconds, but whatever.
You'll live and learn. Now that
yeah, whatever. There's the startup.
It's a very calming startup, but I said it to you kind of jokingly before. I still really like how chaotic the original Xbox startup was.
Yeah.
And I've only noticed that from playing Knights of the Old Republic because that's a old backwards compatible game.
Yeah, I mean, it's also in the beginning of our podcast because I worked it in case anybody noticed.
You worked in the original startup?
Yeah.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, it's layered under the beat.
Well, I'm impressed, and I feel bad I didn't notice that.
Yeah, if you go back and listen now, you'll be like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Right when the original startup closes is where I drop the sound and we kick in the podcast. So, a little fun fact for everybody out there. They're describing the Xbox Series X startup. I didn't tell you this. They're describing it as a choir of gaming angels. That's what they're describing it as.
Huh.
I think it's kind of nice. All right, so the EA stuff. Here's what I think are the interesting things. Not exactly in order, but I kind of just took notes as I was watching the entire presentation. The first thing they mentioned was Apex Legends gets crossplay this fall. It's confirmed finally. That's important to me because one of the people I play Fortnite with plays on PlayStation, and I haven't been able to get him to play Apex because there's no crossplay. So
I honestly
not much else to say.
Was not aware Apex wouldn't crossplay, but I guess I've kind of fallen off from shooter games in general.
Right.
But yeah, that is big. I was not aware, anymore. I just assume the majority of the shooter games or the big multiplayer games are crossplay.
Yeah, I really don't know what took them so long.
Trying to think. Now correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't I know Fortnite's crossplay, but
yeah.
Isn't Call of Duty crossplay as well, or is it only crossplay with PC?
No, it's crossplay with everything. I play with him on Warzone sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what took him so long. But I'll get to play more Apex now that I have somebody to play with, because playing Apex by yourself just isn't that much fun.
That's kind of why I fell off of the shooter game thing. So, I've never been a huge fan of Fortnite, but now, I play with our uncle and our cousin, so it's just fun now because I have people to play with whenever I want to play it.
Yeah, that's really what you need. If you're playing it by yourself, it's just not that much fun, in my opinion.
No, you're correct. Also, it's not that important. We can continue on if you have important things.
I don't know how important they are, but all right. So, I got two more things from the EA thing. So, this one I think is interesting. There's a game coming out called Rocket Arena. Did you see anything about this?
Honestly, it lagged on my end, so I don't know what you said.
Rocket Arena.
Okay, no, I have not seen anything about that.
Okay, so it's a third-person 3v3 arena brawler. Comes with crossplay right out the gate. It comes out on July 14th, okay? So when I saw the initial thing, I thought it was just like your standard like a Overwatch kind of game is what I thought it was looking like.
Okay.
It turns out that's completely not it. I did a little more research. I watched the gameplay that they had after the event. So it's basically Smash Bros, right? So you're these third-person characters in a arena-based map, and everybody has rocket-powered weapons. That's why it's called Rocket Arena. And every character, I think there's 10 of them that are going to be out at the start. Once you start shooting each other, they all have abilities and shit, but once you start shooting each other, your damage percentage starts going up, just like in Smash Bros. And then you'll actually get hit and you'll get launched out of the arena, like straight out the top or out the side, and launched down the bottom. It actually looks like extremely entertaining. Think like Fortnite controls, but no building, and you're just launching each other out of arenas.
Okay, that sounds really cool. That's definitely got my attention.
Yeah, I was like, if it's free, there's no way I'm not jumping in just to at least play a couple rounds.
Oh yeah, man, that just the arena thing reminded me when we got really into a game called Night Squad. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
There was no purpose to that game. It was just fun. But that's the kind of feeling.
That game was fun.
You describing the new EA game gave me that feeling again.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of pumped for this game. I think it's going to be good. Depending on if they handle it right, it could be huge. They're talking about having a season like in Fortnite, so I'm wondering if all the unlocks will be like cosmetic. Hopefully they do it right, because like it's going to be the progression system that really sets them apart. Whether it's just like a fun game or if it's like, nah, I'm out.
Okay, so now I have a question because you obviously know more about the game than I do. When you say it's similar to Smash Bros, do you mean like it is just on a platform, or do you mean because you said Smash Bros and Fortnite? Do you actually get to explore a like 3D map or no?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's 100% 3D.
oh, okay, that
So
sounds
it's-
really cool.
It's a fully third person shooter. The only Smash Bros thing is the mechanic that your damage meter fills up and then you get launched.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds extremely interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. You'll have to look up trailers or something after this.
Oh yeah.
It honestly looks like fun. Okay, so the other EA thing is Star Wars Squadrons. Did you see this?
I did. Go ahead though. I do not have positive feelings about that game.
So it's a pilot focused Star Wars game. It's all dogfights basically, from what I could see. And it's got a multiplayer mode that they're obviously going to try to push. What I thought was interesting though was it's got a completely original Star Wars story. Like it's got a campaign. And the campaign, it said something like, I don't remember if they said Imperial or Rebels, but like you play on both sides, like both factions, like two pilots, and the whole story focuses on jumping back and forth between them. It seemed kind of interesting.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. The only reason I don't have good feelings about that game is that is not my style of game, I guess to say.
Right.
So like I saw it get announced and I was not aware of what it was until after the EA stuff, and I actually like watched about it. And I saw Squadrons and I was like, "Oh, that's going to be really cool." And then I saw dogfighting and I was like, that's not my preferred area of game to play."
Right. I'm with you. I'm not really into dogfighting. This would be like a pick it up down the line kind of thing for me.
Yeah.
The 5v5 ship battles where you can like pick different types of ship and try to accomplish different things when you battle each other. It kind of seems cool. You could also I saw that there was at one point in the trailer there's Ewok bobblehead in one of the ships.
Okay.
So the dude's just flying around with a little Ewok. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I mean, I may give it a shot down the road, but that is not going to be a first day purchase for me by any means.
Yeah, me neither. The other thing to note, I guess, if you're playing on PC or PlayStation, it doesn't really affect us at all, but you can play the entire game in VR, which probably looks pretty cool.
That would be kind of cool. So, have you tried VR before?
Yeah.
I've never tried it. I'd be scared I'd get motion sickness.
Yeah, that's possible. I didn't get it at all. I had some fun in VR. But I think a lot of people do get it, so I don't know. It's just one of those things you'd have to try. You'd want to try it like at like a Scene 75 or something.
Yeah, you'd want to try it somewhere before investing the money. I was trying to figure out a word for what kind of place you'd want to try it at, but
Right. Somewhere you don't have to pay $300.
yeah, there
That's
we
where
go.
you'll try that. Okay. You got a couple more things here. So, Microsoft announced they're finally closing down Mixer. It shuts down on July 22nd. And they're going to team up with Facebook Gaming. But as far as streaming from the console goes, like off the Xbox, you'll be able to stream on Twitch. They're not putting Facebook Gaming on Xbox, so you don't have to worry about that. I don't think this is shocking news. I mean, they literally paid for contracts with some of Twitch's biggest streamers, and they still couldn't touch Twitch. So it's about time they just shut down.
I have no clue how Facebook Gaming could even touch Twitch.
I don't think it can. I think they're just not trying to get rid of the entire Mixer wing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I always thought the mixer thing was strange. Twitch was just far too well established at that point in time.
Yeah, I think they definitely could have just not. That's it.
Yeah, especially when they started like buying Twitch's streamers, it was like, what? Why are you doing that? Stop.
Right. It's like, you're not gonna be able to touch them. Just let it go. Oh well. All right. Crash Bandicoot 4. Did you see this?
I did see that. I'm very excited.
So the name of it officially is Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time, which is a title. Obviously, it's a pun. I did a little bit of research. It's been 22 years since Crash 3. 22 years.
Did you say Crash 3?
Yep.
So, what do you mean by Crash 3? Like the last
Like,
time warped is what you're saying, right?
sure. Is it the one that's numbered 3?
I don't know. I don't actually know the numbers. I was thinking I remember playing like yeah, never mind. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah.
It is warped, yes. Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. That's what it's called.
I was thinking there's no way it had been that long since the last Crash game. But
It hasn't been, because there were some. Like, there's, I don't know. I think Crash Team Racing was later.
there was also
Um,
Crash Twinsanity and Mind
Yeah.
Over Mutant and stuff, but
But the last numbered one,
yeah, there
which
we
was
go.
3,
That's
was
what
22
had me
years ago.
confused.
Yeah. So, obviously, the Crash Insane trilogy sold like bonkers. They redid Crash Team Racing. It sold like bonkers. Crash 4 was happening. If you didn't think Crash 4 was happening, you're an idiot.
Oh yeah. I think
Yeah. So,
Naughty Dog completely forgot how big Crash was until they were like, we should redo that.
I think they just moved on to better things, I mean, Activision owns the rights, so.
I don't know if I'd call it better things. I mean, what'd they move on to? Like The Last of Us and stuff?
Yeah, like Uncharted, just the biggest PlayStation games there are, pretty much.
I mean, yeah, they're big, but I played. What did I do? I did like half of the Uncharted series. I hated it.
Yeah. Well.
It was a lot of, at least the first 2 games were just purely like cover-based shooter.
Right.
It was like, how is this entertaining at all?
Yeah, it's like cover-based shooter with like a Indiana Jones, Lara Croft kind of story. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'm not that into them either.
Yeah, we
Last
can
of Us is
continue.
great though.
I started The Last of Us. I just couldn't get into it. Not to say that the story's not good or anything. I just did not get into it. Also, there was another zombie game that I really wanted to play, started it, and did not like it. I was very upset about that. I can't remember what that game was, though. It was a PlayStation exclusive. The motorcycle one.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's how good of a game it was that we can't remember the name of it.
Crash 4. What did you think? Did you watch the gameplay? What did you think?
I did not watch the gameplay. I just saw the announcement, and I was like, all right, that's sweet. Now I'm going to shut my brain off so I don't watch it.
That's fair. I watched just the trailer. It looks like classic Crash, like as far as the gameplay style. It looks like fun. It looks cool. It looks clean. You get to play as the female Crash. What's her name? I don't know that much about Crash, obviously.
Yeah, no, that's his sister or something, but I can't remember her name.
Anyway, I'll probably play Crash 4.
I was curious if it was going to be similar to the numbered Crashes, or if it was going to be like, did you ever play Twinsanity, where it was a 3D world, like you got to freely explore?
I did not.
Okay, that one was actually really good. it's been a long time since I've played it, so forgive me. Somehow Crash and Cortex get stuck to each other. So there's parts in that game where you get to play as Cortex, but that I didn't know if they were going to go that route or if they were going to go more of the traditional route.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I never played that one. That sounds a little more Spyro, but the new one definitely looks like classic, like all the numbered ones. It looks identical as far as the gameplay actually is.
Huh.
So I'm thinking it'll be more in that vein. I'm probably gonna play through. I have the Insane trilogy, and I have Crash Team Racing, so I'll probably play through Crash after Spyro.
Oh, I didn't know you hadn't done the Crash trilogy yet.
No, I own it. I just haven't played through them.
So
I probably won't 100% them because I know it's like insane.
it's really hard to do, and then they also added extra difficult levels to I think 1 and 2 maybe.
Yeah.
See, I never played Crash Team Racing. I was never a racing game fan. But, to each his own.
Right. I like Crash Team Racing. I played it a little bit. It's like a harder Mario Kart. I kind of appreciate it. And it has boss fights. Like, what kart racer has boss fights?
That's very strange. Why does that game have boss fights?
I don't know. It's sick, though. You just race the boss, but still.
Oh, okay.
It's still sick. Alright, that's all I want to say about Crash. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
The last piece of news I have is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake. What are we calling them? It doesn't matter. HD. What are they called?
I think they're just the remakes.
There's a demo. Well, it's not out yet. It was supposed to be out in like August or something. If you pre-order, you get access to the demo. Not only that, they also announced that there's a few new skaters, which are like more modern skaters. And they're also getting their own specials. So the only real difference in the game, it has all the original crap. It also has a few new skaters.
That's, I had seen their, because I had clicked on the game on, excuse me, I pulled my food out of the oven and it started sizzling, so I walked away from it. I had seen that you got access to a demo if you pre-ordered, but I was not that interested, knowing it was Tony Hawk. I already knew the controls.
Right.
To pre-order and get a demo of it.
Yeah, and I think they said the demo was the warehouse.
Yeah, which...
So I'm assuming it's just the warehouse level.
Yeah, and everybody knows that level.
Yeah. But still, whatever. If you want to play it a little early, you can play it like half a month early or whatever. That's it for the news. Would you like to get into our top 5 Xbox One games?
Yeah, sorry. It's noisy. I'm cooking dinner. Please be patient with me.
It's all right.
I'm back in my area now. Just apologizing to viewers. Single dude, worked all day, still have to eat.
Right. So I went first last week, so you go first this week.
Okay. Give me a moment. Got to figure out where I put that list.
That's all right. Take your time. It's probably on your phone somewhere.
It was obviously on my phone. Okay, I found it. So, I guess to go ahead and give just a little bit of a warning. I have my list. It's not in a particular order, and it's probably not going to make sense because there is a strange variety of games on here. It goes from, like, my favorite games to games that I have memories in from either playing with my friends or whatever. But,
right.
So, no particular order. To start off my list, which I think we touched on it last week, where I obviously said it was going to be on this list. Watch Dogs 2.
Yes.
I believe I've replayed that game probably 6 times. I have no clue why I liked it so much, but it was a very fun and probably the most replayable in my mind as far as a open world shooter type game. That
It probably has something to do with aesthetic, I would guess.
I think I did touch on. I really liked the aesthetic of that.
Yeah.
Probably the soundtrack as well, and maybe the underlying story elements. But it's, in my opinion, it's a really good game. I wouldn't call it a 10 out of 10 because there are issues with it. But I had so much fun playing that. I don't know if you've played that or not, so I don't know if you have.
I have not.
Okay.
I really should, though. Honestly.
That's the DLC for that one. I played the DLC. It wasn't that great, but so since you haven't played it and don't really have anything to touch on with it, I'm gonna move on. Is that cool?
Right. Good with me.
So next, I know I mentioned it last week. Sunset Overdrive.
Yes. This is also on my list, so
So
I figured it would be on yours.
yeah, so that game for me, now correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't a launch title, but it was a very early Xbox One game.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty early on, which is probably why a lot of people didn't get to play it.
But yeah, that game, it's amazing. It takes elements from a lot of the old open world games, I'd say. So like I guess the easiest comparison I would have would be like the old open world Spider-Man games on PlayStation 2.
Right.
That's a very loose comparison, don't get me wrong, but there's so much character customization you can do. You can customize your weapons because you do have guns and things in that. You have special abilities you can customize, but also like you could grind, you could free run, you could zip line. There were so many things to do in that game, and not to mention there were
Right.
zombies too. It was a great game. I loved the aesthetic. It was a great time waster. The story was really good, which we touched on it last week. I was so bummed when you told me that had gotten lost in some business deals because I was hoping for a second one. Because the original story is left on a cliffhanger.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying you won't get a second one.
Yeah.
It just won't be made by Insomniac, which is a real loss.
Yeah, that's the huge bummer with that. Did you want to touch on it at all, or just wait till it's on your list?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and touch on it here, and I just won't mention it on my list. So, like you said, if you can grind and stuff, it kind of feels like an old school skateboarding game, like the old school Tony Hawk's, as far as like arcadey skating. Like you just use your feet or whatever. You don't actually have a skateboard.
I guess that just reminded me. I don't know if you ever played them. Somebody that's watched it has probably played them. The Jet Set Radio games. Did you play those?
I have not.
That's what it's really reminiscent of to me, because I loved what was it? It was Jet Set Radio Future. That one was so good.
I might have to check that out. I think at least one of them's backwards compatible.
It's backwards compatible. Okay, Jet Set Radio Future is backwards compatible on the 360. It's not on the Xbox One.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Also, I have 2 copies of it, so if you really want to play it, I can give you a copy.
All right then. But yeah, it's got that fluid movement with like you can like grind and then you can jump and hang from the wires and like flip yourself up. Like everything about the movement in that game just feels perfect. And then you combine that with, like you were mentioning, there's guns and abilities. Like I'm pretty sure there's an ability that makes it so like when you're grinding on a rail, you shoot fireballs off the side of the rail.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a thing. I guess we forgot to mention too, when we say guns, it's like homemade, very
Right.
very out there guns. Like, they're not realistic whatsoever. It's a very cartoony game.
Yeah. It's honestly nuts. The different combinations of weapons and abilities that you can have, you could probably, after a certain point, not even ever fire a weapon again and kill everybody. Like all the zombies.
Yeah, I guess they even make it more similar to old skateboarding games. You have a combo meter, which is how some of your abilities get activated.
Yeah, and aren't there like there's like hidden upgrades. Is it upgrades? Like isn't there like shoes and stuff all throughout the map that you have to use like different combinations of things to get to?
Oh yeah.
Be that, flipping or jumping or bouncing or grinding.
There's a bunch of random collectibles, and you'd grab these collectibles to make new special abilities. It was an all-around great game, to me anyways.
Yeah. I thought it was a masterpiece. It's definitely underlooked. Maybe not so much now, but like when it came out, it definitely was. Because like I looked it up since you asked. It came out a year after the Xbox One. So like that's still when Xbox was like down in the dumps.
That's
after the whole like can't share your games and connect thing.
I believe that game was actually announced when the Xbox dropped, maybe? That might be a little off.
It's possible.
Because I know that was the first one I was actually looking forward to playing. Like, I was so pumped about that.
Yeah, that game is good. Just a masterpiece. All right, you can continue your list now.
So next on my list is Red Dead Redemption 2. So, I don't know if you've played it yet or not. I know you own it.
Yeah, I still haven't played it.
Okay, so if you have played the first Red Dead Redemption, obviously you know it follows the story of John Marston. Well, if you haven't played the second one, even though it's been out for a while, it shows how that story became, because it's a prequel. It is such a, I don't want to say a long game, because it didn't feel like a chore to play. It was definitely not like playing GTA in my mind. Like, you were kind of grabbed by some of the characters. I really liked the story. The gameplay elements were unique, but they were similar enough to Red Dead Redemption that you weren't like, what's going on? I think I've played through that game 3 times, so I bring that up because there's a lot of games that I buy, play, and beat one time, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with those games.
Right. I'm with you on that one. I do the same thing.
But yeah, that, if you haven't played it and you're into the Wild West thing, and you're into like the outlaw part of the Wild West stuff, definitely give that game a look, because it is also free on Game Pass right now, so why wouldn't you check it out?
Right. Which is why I really stopped slacking, because I don't even have to put the disc in.
Yeah, so definitely check that game out. It's so good, in my opinion. Because not only, I'm not going to reveal spoilers, even though that game's been out for a while. So, you beat the main story, then you go to an epilogue, which is still a prologue for the first game. So it even explains further how the first game's character got into the position he was. But, yeah, if you haven't played it, play it. It's good. I don't have an opinion on the multiplayer. Haven't played it. Don't want to play it.
I don't think most people have an opinion on the multiplayer.
Yeah.
No one talks about it.
Okay. So that's all I'm going to say. Now, this one is a little weird. Those games, they were all really good, in my opinion. This one was just unique, and we spent a lot of time in it.
Oh, God, what is this?
It's Rocket League, actually.
Oh, Rocket League. Nice.
So I threw this on the list because, you know, Ricky and I used to play video games probably 5 days a week, I'd say, if not 6. especially
easily
on Xbox One in general too. Rocket League came out, and it was a new concept. We got really into it. So much so, I'm gonna go ahead and call us out for being nerdy losers. Essentially, we went to a Rocket League tournament, like in person.
Yeah, we did.
Went to one. Sadly,
yeah, we got wrecked.
we didn't fare well. I wouldn't say we got wrecked. What did we lose by?
wrecked.
1 point?
Yeah, we lost in the first round though. We got wrecked.
Yeah, I mean 1 point in the first round though. I consider that.
I'm calling this out. It's fine.
Yeah, whatever. But no, that game. There's a lot of old games that I played, and I'll see them on my games list, and I'll be like, I don't play that anymore. I'm deleting it. I cannot delete Rocket League, even though I don't remember the last time I played it.
Yeah, dude, Rocket League was so good. I honestly forgot about it when I made my list, but it's a great game. To add on, you said we got really into it. I would not say that we got really good at it. I think the highest we ever played was gold.
Yeah, we got into it. We weren't good.
But that being said, the guy I work with that I play Fortnite with, before we started playing Fortnite, this was back when I was on the same boat where I'm like, I don't play Fortnite. Him and his friend that also worked there, they're like, well, we play Rocket League. You want to play us in Rocket League? And I'm like, all right. I mean, like, what's your rank? And they're like, we don't play online, but we could beat the computer at, like, I don't remember. It wasn't the hardest difficulty, but it was like the second hardest, and they thought they were good. So I'm like, all right, I'll play you guys 2v1. Fuck it. So we load up Rocket League, and I know full well that me and you have played so much online that like playing against the bots is not going to compare. I destroyed them like 10-0 in a 2v1.
God. Yeah, just to touch too. So Rocket League is still popular now. I just wanted to say we started playing Rocket League before there were seasons.
Right. Way before then.
Before there was a pass you could buy, things like that. Like,
I don't even think there was basketball yet.
No, we started playing that game day one, like when it came out.
Yeah. Another thing to note is there's an entire, or I don't know if it still exists, but there used to be an entire like Rocket League trading community.
No, that's still a thing.
Yeah, but I think everything's like, because of the battle pass, everything's price is like inflated, like everything's down. I was really into that too for a little while. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, that.
Or like we were doing like Reddit trades with people.
That reminded me. So we're gonna. I can't believe you forgot about it, but it makes me happy that you fondly remember it the same way I do. There was a certain car in the game that I really liked. I was young though. Like, I think I had a job maybe when Rocket League came out. Maybe I didn't.
I think you did.
I don't know. Maybe I had more important things going on, and I use air quotes around important. Figure that out for yourself.
Right.
But I remember this car coming out, and you could only get it in crates, and then by the time I had the money to actually get it and start buying crates, you couldn't buy it anymore. Like, it was not in crates.
Right.
It got removed. Dude, I think I paid like $6-7 for this car, when in all reality it's worth like $1.50.
Right. Yeah, I didn't say we were good at trading.
No, that was another thing too. In all, we were never good at that game, but
No,
we had a
it was just so
lot
much
of fun. I was thinking when you started mentioning we did gold. We were in gold while that was the highest rank you could get, by the way. We were like gold tier 3, but there was gold tier 1, which was the highest.
Yeah.
Now there's
I
like
think there's also,
platinum
like-
and diamond.
Yeah, it goes pretty far now.
But originally that was not a thing.
Yeah, we were never great at Rocket League though.
We weren't
I
horrible.
love Rocket League.
That like I would
No, I wouldn't say we were bad. I'd say we were like slightly above average.
yeah, like
If I'd put us.
I was never good at the game. I'd still play it to this day. Like if somebody asked me if I wanted to, I'd be like, "Oh, dude, hell yeah!"
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm probably not gonna land any shots, but I'm with you. Let's go.
But to move on, the next one, again, I didn't think it was an amazing game, but we spent a lot of time in it, like too much time. We started playing this one super early on too. GTA 5. I know it came out on 360 first, but
we really got in on Xbox One.
Yeah, and like when I say we really got into it, it was me, you, my ex-girlfriend, Pancake, BMO, Rod. I think there was two more people we played with constantly. Oh, Bearded Muscles and the Earl of Lemongrab. My friend Kyle.
Yeah, we really had a gang going for a while.
Oh yeah, like we had that many people playing that game with us routinely before there was ever a reason to have that many people to play with. Like,
yeah,
there
was nothing to do.
Yeah, we started playing that game before, like, the only thing you could do was buy houses, garages, and cars. You couldn't start businesses. You couldn't even do heists yet, but for some reason we loved that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have GTA on my list, but we did play a lot of GTA. I thought about it. I was like, should I? And I'm like, nah, I just can't.
It wasn't.
Can't do it.
It wasn't an amazing game, but that was one of those we spent so much time playing that it definitely needed mentioned.
Yeah. Plus, it would be disingenuous. I still never beat the story.
Now that one, I'll admit, I beat the story twice. I beat it once on 360 and once on Xbox One, just for the achievements though, because that was still when I was young enough that achievements mattered to me.
Yeah. Achievements still kind of matter, man. What the heck?
Well, back then, especially 360, I don't know if you remember, if you got a certain amount of gamer points per month, or maybe it was just if you had a certain amount, not only did you get discounts in the store, you would get, like, special things around your gamer tag when people looked at your profile. I remember that on 360 specifically.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. That's some nerd shit right there.
Yeah. But the big point was, like, you'd get discounts in the store.
Right.
But that's the end of my list.
All right. I guess I'll start my list then. The first one, obviously, Sunset Overdrive, we already mentioned, so we'll skip that. So I got 4 more games here. Same as yours, no particular order. Also, obviously, subject to change. Anything I could have forgotten, whatever. Same disclaimer as the 360 games. All right, so Fortnite. I know Fortnite's a little overhyped at this point. Everybody knows.
Kind of surprised that's on your list, really.
Look, I played Fortnite pretty much religiously for like over a year. Like I was on like every day playing from like the end of the 3rd season to like the 7th or 8th season. I was nonstop playing it, and
no, I remember that now that you say it, because
yeah,
you were playing it every day. I'd get on and talk to you. I wouldn't play it because I didn't like it, but
yeah, Fortnite, it was something. I mean, it's fallen off for me and probably a lot of people. But like at that height of like the end of season 3 when the comet was hitting, and then like season 4 there was like trucks and picking up stuff from the meteors, and then there was the rocket in-game event, and then season 5 and 6, and you know the events just kept rolling, and there was a freaking concert, and there was a giant cube that the community named Kevin, and everybody just accepted that his name was Kevin, and it rolled across the entire map. The game was nuts. It did something in multiplayer games that I've like never seen before, and I still continue to have like never seen anybody else do it, even though it's been like over a year.
No, I definitely give you that. I give Fortnite credit for being very original with what they did.
Yeah.
I think at that point in time, especially when it first got big, Fortnite first time I moved out on my own, so I had so much stuff going on, I didn't have the time to get into it and get good at it.
Right.
And that was another game we played. I remember playing from day one when the Battle Royale started. Because I played it when it was just a PvE game.
Yeah.
So we played it from day one, and not to discredit the game by any means, they did horrible about separating skill levels.
Yeah, it's bad now.
No, like, to me, the separation of skill levels, it's good, but it's still not great. So, like, I say I play with our uncle and our cousin. They are significantly lower levels than me. Off point, not saying anything bad about Epic Games or Fortnite, just my account got hacked and somebody played on my account that was a better player than I was. So I got leveled up, not by myself. When I play with my uncle and my cousin, it drops my level down to theirs because they're both lower levels. So I can actually enjoy the game again, because if I try to play on my own, I cannot kill a single person.
Right. Yeah, that is kind of crap. The other thing is I don't like that they mixed. It used to be like if you played on controller, you only played with people on controller. Now it's no matter what, you play with everybody. I don't like that they mixed them.
Oh yeah, that's a really bad thing too. So, to give a really good example of how that's so bad, it also talks about their leveling thing. So, myself and our younger cousin will play on Xbox. Our uncle will play on Switch. Our youngest cousin will play on our uncle's cell phone. I can play with all three of them in the same game, but as soon as the youngest cousin's involved with the cell phone, it's so bad because I'm playing with people that are playing on a cell phone. So it's like, how is this even remotely fair?
Yeah, it's not. It's not good. They need to separate it back out, but whatever. I mean, in your case, it would be a little bit different because you're mixing them. And if you chose to mix them, then it would probably still mix them no matter what.
Yeah, but even in general, it's always mixed.
Yeah, it's a problem. But anyway, Fortnite was great. I still play it. I mean, obviously, I mentioned earlier that I'm waiting on the second week of challenges for this season. To keep playing. So.
I think I mentioned earlier too. I'm getting back into it now because I've let it sit so long that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I may be completely wrong. I think if you just let your account sit and do nothing with it, it does slowly lose its level, or maybe the player base, you know, let's say I was level, like, 100. Level 100s, when that happened to me, are completely different from what they are now.
Well, so I think as far as matchmaking is concerned, it's not like your level. It's something behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, let's say whatever skill you're at. I don't know if it falls off or how it works. I wish I knew, but I guess if you knew, then you'd be able to game the system. So that's probably why they don't, like, explain it to people.
I can definitely say...
I'm assuming if you don't play, your skill probably drops.
Yeah. I was going to say, I can definitely say I cannot play in the same game as you. I lose immediately if I try to play with you.
I can barely play in the same game as me. I get like one solo win every week.
Yeah, no, I cannot touch the level of player you're playing with.
Yeah, it's rough. If I could edit it a little bit better, I think I'd be a little better at it, but I just don't want to take the time to learn it. Anyway, moving on to the next game. That's enough about Fortnite. The next game I have on my list is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
I'm surprised that's on your list, but I respect it because that's a really good game. I'm on my second playthrough.
So, when I was making the list, I was thinking about games I really liked, right? And I was thinking about Dark Souls 3, and I'm like, yeah, Dark Souls 3 is a pretty good Dark Souls game. And then I was like, well, what about Star Wars? It's got a Star Wars story. I love Star Wars. And it plays like Dark Souls. And I'm like, all right, so if my options are Dark Souls 3 or Star Wars, I'm going to pick Star Wars. Um, so if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't played this game, stop. Just do it. There's difficulty settings unlike in Dark Souls, so you can make it easier on yourself. So just go play the game.
That's yeah. Go ahead. I'll come back in later.
It's got the thing that I really like about Dark Souls, which is that it's kind of almost Metroidvania-like, where like you will unlock a shortcut or whatever, and it just the whole map loops around to itself, which I just really love in Dark Souls. It's kind of like a really awesome world-building thing where it's like, oh yeah, that's a shortcut. I'm back where I was at the very beginning. That's kind of cool. And then, you know, later, if you're like in Star Wars' case, if you're going for like you know, bosses, like the secret bosses in Star Wars, it's easier to get to them now that you have all these shortcuts unlocked. The game's just really solid. That's all I really want to say about it. Also, colored lightsabers. I mean, it's one of my favorite things with Force Unleashed. I'm glad they're in this game.
I'm gonna touch a little bit too. I didn't put it on my list. The new Star Wars game, Fallen Order, it's an amazing Star Wars game in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to say, I said I was playing Knights of the Old Republic. I guess for people who do not know, that is a Star Wars game, a very early Star Wars game. If you have not played that, you definitely need to. Expect old RPG game where like it was on PC and got put onto a console. Expect that kind of controls, but it's a great game.
Yeah.
Also,
I actually haven't played KOTOR, but I own it.
Just wanted to say, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 are both backwards compatible on Xbox One, and they're like $10. Give them a day in court.
Yeah. I guess I should have mentioned the parkour aspect and the force powers of Fallen Order.
Oh yeah, because
that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
The dual wielding leaves a little to be desired, in my opinion, if I want to point out a flaw of the game.
See, I wouldn't even call it dual wielding. I guess now we're getting into a discussion about the game, but you never really dual wield. You have eventually, because it's not really a spoiler, eventually you get a two-ended lightsaber, and you can do a combo that breaks it in half, but it immediately goes back together. So you never really dual wield. You can have a single blade, or you can have a double, and that's about it. But
I guess that's fair, yeah. That's what I meant by it leaves something to be desired.
I wish you could dual wield. That is how I prefer to play Star Wars when I get that option, but
right. Yeah, I really like the staff, the double-ended. But dual wielding is needed, in my opinion.
no, I agree.
All right, next game on our list is Fallout 4.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not the best Fallout game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a Fallout game. So the main story might suck, and some of the like base building mechanics I really didn't like, but the side stories are awesome. The world building is amazing. There's a lot of things that I love, like really specifically, like nitty gritty details about the game that I don't want to go in because it would probably take me like 10 minutes of just talking about Fallout 4. But I never played the DLC either, so I really should play that. But anyway, I'm getting jumbled in my thoughts here. One of the small specific things that I like. Actually, I'll give you two. There's crashed planes in the game that like you don't see in any other Fallout, but like if you think about it, if there's planes in the sky in the middle of a nuclear apocalypse, the planes would crash.
You're correct.
So
yeah.
that's one of the world building things that I really loved about Fallout 4 is the fact that they crash planes. And those are just things you can, explore. The other thing I really love as far as world building goes is that if you go into like any store in the game or even like some of just the towns in general, there's Halloween decorations. So in a Fallout lore, the nuclear like bombs drop in October. So obviously there'd be Halloween decorations. So that's just another thing that I really love that they like thought of and put in the game.
I'm gonna agree with you on the world building. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to play that game and complete the main story while doing side quests. I just could not get into it. Even after they allowed mods to the point where it was like, okay, I can figure out the story, still I'd play and be like, this just doesn't... The gameplay did not interest me for whatever reason.
Yeah, I guess that's the another thing I was going to mention is mod support. It's the first Bethesda game on console to get mod support. That's kind of awesome. Yeah, the gameplay, I don't know about, like, the shooting felt great. But, like, the perk system, honestly, I really did not like it. I don't know what they were trying to do there. Where, like, your specials were your perks. I didn't like what they were doing.
No,
But
go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think you can infinitely level in that game. Which is kind of cool. Kind of like in Elder Scrolls, how you can level infinitely. In Skyrim, I mean.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I don't know what they were doing with the perk system. They did bring back the old perk system. But there's still a lot of good stuff in the game.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong, that was a good game. I don't know, the base building killed it for me, especially I'm sure all of you have seen the memes that are going to watch this. Yeah. You know, another settlement needs your help. That dude just shows up out of nowhere. It's like, would you leave me alone? I have more important things to do.
Yeah, that's the base building mechanics, and it's not good.
Yeah, but it was a decent Fallout game. I still stick to my guns and say New Vegas was my personal favorite. And
yeah,
people are... I was going to say, people might disagree with that. It was a good game. Didn't love it, though.
Yeah, I just think Fallout 4 gets more hate than it deserves.
No,
And I think maybe it's because people are like, oh, a new Fallout game. I don't know.
No, you're correct. It definitely got a lot of hate that it didn't deserve, but there was some of it that was definitely like, oh no, you guys deserved that.
Yeah. New Vegas is probably my favorite also. But then if we're going like setting, it's Fallout 3. Because I just love Washington, D.C. and the Founding Fathers, like monuments and stuff. And there's like a shrine to Lincoln. There's good stuff.
No, I remember, I believe it was Fallout 3. Obviously you can get the super mutant companion.
Yep.
But I think if you wander far enough, there's an entire community of mutated trees that can talk, correct?
It's one tree, but yes.
Oh, I thought it was an entire community. Still, like, Fallout 3 had some good things in it. Fallout 3 was great. I just liked New Vegas more.
Yeah. New Vegas is good. But, yeah. So, Fallout 4. I'm probably going to replay it here soon. Because I own all the DLC. It's just... By the time the DLC came out, I had moved on to something else. And then when I tried to go back in the game, I'm like, I think I played, like, the Automatron DLC. And then by the time the one after that came out, I'm like, I'm playing other games. I don't... It hit at the wrong point in my life. So I'm probably going to go back now that I got a little more free time. After Spyro, of course. And maybe after Crash. I don't know. We're running into a lot of things. Because then by then, Tony Hawk and whatever.
Yeah, by the time I finish the Knights of the Old Republic, I'm going to call it a series because it was only 2 games. I don't think anybody really acknowledges the MMO. But, dude, by the time I finish those 2 games and make my way back to Yakuza, there's going to be so much stuff out that I'm not going to have the time.
Yeah, I feel it. Maybe I'll skip Crash and just go to Fallout. Who knows? Anyway, my last game, and this might be a little bit cheating or cheap, or I don't know. I put the Halo Master Chief Collection on there.
Really?
Yeah. So look, I know I'm new to this whole Halo thing, but I really liked the story when I played it. And the Master Chief Collection gives you 6 Halo games in one bundle. And the first 2 games have increased graphics, and the second game has all new cutscenes. I mean, you can't really beat the Master Chief Collection. When it comes to like value, like let's say if you had to pay for it instead of just getting it on Game Pass. When it comes to value in an Xbox game, that's where it's at. And if you're really into Halo multiplayer, which I am not, all the multiplayer maps are there. You can play in multiplayer exactly like you could back in the day. You can't beat Master Chief Collection. That's all I'm saying. So if you're like me and you haven't played Halo for some reason and you're on Game Pass, go do it. Just play through them all. It'll only take you like 30 hours or something to beat all of Master Chief Collection, other than Reach and ODST, which I still haven't played.
So
just go play it.
So I wanted to add in, I've played the Halo 1 story, I've played the Halo 3 story, and I've played Reach and ODST. I've beat all of those. I never beat or played Halo 2 story besides like the one mission you and I did together.
Yeah.
Started 4 story, didn't finish it. I don't even think I touched 5's. But that was my introduction to online first-person shooters. The Halo games in general will always have a place in my heart as a video game player, anyways.
Right.
I definitely need to take the time and go back through and replay them and replay the stories. Especially now that I could just play them back to back, but
right,
there's other games I want to play and beat first.
One of the cool things about the Master Chief Collection is there's different playlists, right? Which you would think for multiplayer, but there's also playlists for the campaign. You can literally load up the campaign playlist for the entire story and just start and play through them all.
Now, I noticed that when you and I played the one day.
Yeah, you can even, it'll load between games without you even have to go back to the main menu. It's not how I did it, but you can do it. Yeah. So Master Chief Collection is great. They got, your Lasso playlist if you want to do Legendary All Skulls. I'm never going to do it. Don't even ask me to. It's in there. You can do whatever.
Dude, I've watched Achievement Hunter do some of the Lasso stuff. I don't want to use the word cringy, but it really is. Just because it's like, why would you do that to yourself on purpose?
Yeah, look, I played through, it took us like an hour and a half to get through the first level of the first game.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. That one, you get to keep your HUD. The next games after that, you lose the HUD. You can't even see your reticle. I'm out. But anyway, Halo's great.
I just wanted to give a shout out to the people that are insane enough to play video games on the hardest difficulty possible. I don't know why you do that to yourself, but good on you. That's not my kind of thing.
Right. It's one thing to do like a challenge that's hard. It's another thing to play the entire game impossible. Like I could see even playing Halo on Legendary. I might do that someday, just for the fun of it.
Okay, I will say I did Halo 3 on Legendary, but that was with a group of friends as a very young child. I'm gonna say 6th or 7th grade during the summer. So it's like, didn't really have anything better to do than play Halo.
Right. Like I could see playing a Legendary, especially since like the problem with all skulls is if you're playing solo, you die, you start back at the beginning of the level.
Oh yeah, no, you don't play Lasso by yourself. That's not a thing.
Yeah, it's rough. And even in co-op, if either one of you dies, you go back to the last checkpoint. Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. I'm out. Halo's great, though. If you haven't played it, play it. The story's amazing. So that's the end of my list. Do you have anything else you want to add before we close this thing up?
I didn't put it on my list because to me it was too new. Also, it doesn't really belong on an Xbox list, but honorable mention, the Yakuza games. I know you're not familiar with them very much. They were PlayStation-only games at first. As a kid, played the first one on PlayStation 2, and then got older. It was significantly older. I played the other ones. I just wanted to say I'm glad they're on Xbox One, because I love the story of them. I love the gameplay. It's probably, for people who know me, that is a very strange game for me to be really into, but it's one of my favorites. So I just wanted to throw that as an honorable mention. It doesn't really belong on an Xbox One list, but it's on Xbox now. So,
right. Yeah, I say that's fair. It is a weird game for you to like, honestly.
No, it's a very strange game that I'm into for some reason.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but hey, man, you like what you like, you know.
I was trying to figure out a way to describe to people why that's strange for me to like it, but I really don't know, because it's easier.
You just have to know you, I think.
Yeah, it's easier for an outside person to be like, this is why it's weird. It's just weird. Trust us.
Yeah, the more weeks we do this show, the more they'll figure it out, I think.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up then. I just want to say, as always, you can follow us social media, Xbox Infinite. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. If you're on iTunes, I think you write reviews on iTunes. Whatever you do, it helps us get out to more people. And I just want to give a shout out to Project Session. We've been talking about it for like 3 weeks now.
Yeah, let's just to expand on that a little more. Not only a shout out to Session in general, but to the developers as well. Creature Studios. They're a very small
nice
team out of Canada, and they're very involved with their community. They are active in their Discord. They're active on the subreddit. Like, very good guys. Very active on Instagram too. Just to clarify, no way affiliated with them at all. But
no,
you and I...
They won't return my calls.
Yeah, you and I both love this game, and I'm so impressed with how much they interact with their community. Like, I guess if people don't know, it'll be done by the time this comes out. Currently, while we're recording this, they're doing a contest on their Instagram. Their favorite clip that gets submitted to Instagram, they're giving a free passcode for the Xbox One version.
Yeah. Honestly sick.
Yeah.
We both entered, obviously. I'll spoil it.
Yeah, we're not going to win. But if we do win,
no.
Whoever's viewing, one of you might get the code.
Yeah, and just a little bit more about Session. I plan on making a top 5 clips video coming out next week or tomorrow. And I'll probably do them weekly. So if you're playing the game and you want to submit, look out for that. Other than that, yeah, close up the show. Like, comment, subscribe, all that crap. You know what to do. I don't really need to tell you. Anything you want to say to the people?
We encourage negative comments.
We encourage all comments.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't get any comments last week. It kind of hurts.
But
argue with me about Rise some more, people. Come on.
Yeah, argue with us about stuff. I will gladly debate even if it's something I don't know about.
Yeah, we'll make it up. Screw it. It's half this podcast.
You're not supposed to give away that secret.
Ooh.